where were you?
They don't get anything.
Yeah. Not too bad. Yeah. I was kind of wondering, I got in here, I thought, man. Yeah. I know, got in here at the right time.
Yeah.
I don't think you were there.
Hey, how are you? Do you want to follow individually?
They're still signing.
No, we're good. Thank you. Very nice. Don't let anybody know he's not a good day. He's not a good day.
I'm from Texas. No.
There you go.
If you want right,
Okay, I have 6 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and call our meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Fitch, here, Clifton,
Here?
Lance.
Present. Quiet, please. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. That's okay.
Motion by Heather, second by Diane. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. All right, thanks for coming, everybody. We are gonna have a public hearing for the fiscal '24 budget. The way this will work is Shelley will present the budget that has been prepared over the last 4 months now, I guess. And after that time, there'll be an opportunity for public comment. If you wish to speak, raise your hand. We'll call you to the podium. You have a maximum of 10 minutes to speak. It is comment time. It's not question and answer time. And any comment should be directed to the 3 supervisors, not to the auditor or any other county employees. If I feel anything is being disrespectful, you will be asked to leave. So that's where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. Can I ask for a motion to enter into the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion from Diane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Heather. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Our public hearing is beginning at 6:01 p.m. Everything was published as appropriate, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any
I did
written
not
comments?
receive any written comments from anyone.
All right. Go ahead and do your presentation.
All right. So, this goes over the total dollars, of this budget. You can see total revenue, $20,035,825. Total expenditures, $23,429,548. Keep in mind, the expenditures does include us using up the rest of the American Rescue Funds this next year. So there is a pretty substantial amount, $876,000 included in that. Countywide levy, that's gonna include the general basic, the general supplemental, and the debt service levy. That is at 5.59664. Total property taxes levied at $5,894,837. Rural levy, that's at $3.80 a thousand, for a total of property taxes levied $2,830,180. So you'll see the total of those is 80.7 million. Credit to taxpayers, that's any homestead credits, anything like that. So net property taxes is $8,369,593. So this goes over valuations. This shows you what our valuations were 2021, which was last budget year, and what they are for this budget year. Keep in mind, valuations are a year behind. So we're using January 1 of 2022 valuations to do this year's budget. So I won't read these numbers, but the countywide valuation is there with the total tax levy that we received in last year's budget, and the same with the rural and the tax levies. Total tax dollars, FY23 levies, 7.4 million. 2022 valuations, we have the tax dollars for 2024 that we talked about in the last slide. So total tax dollars for FY24 using the levies is 8.7 million. I did make a note down at the bottom, the total tax dollars received for FY22, which was the last time the levy rates were this rate, was just over 8.5 million. So we are increasing, if you're comparing apples to apples, that year's tax rates are identical to this year's tax rates. We have an increase of $190,844 from FY22 to FY24. This just goes over our debt service schedule. So this is all the county's debt that we have. We have the Dome project. That payment is paid out of lost revenue, local option sales tax. We have the annex purchase, and that's paid with that debt service levy. We have the E911 radio project, which is also paid with the debt service levy. And then we have all our construction projects, the GEO bond. We pay that with TIF revenue from the Maxford wind turbines. You will see the first three end in 4 years. We have 4 years remaining on that, and then the last one has 12 years. This here just is a pie chart to show you where's our revenue coming from in Madison County. Obviously 45% of our revenue is from property taxes, but it's made up of licenses, permits, charges for services, any local option sales tax, so all of that is on here as revenue. And then this one just shows expenses. So majority of our expenses come from the roads and transportation department, but you'll see capital projects, public safety and legal services, so this is just a pie chart of that. There are copies of this in the back if you did not get one, and if they're out, please let me know. I would be happy to email them to you. This is just budget considerations. This just tells you what the rollbacks were for this budget cycle. Taxable valuations increased by just over 18 million this year. And then the tax increment financing, which is that TIP money, there was just over 87 million in valuations there. When we're looking at the budgets, we like to see our ending fund balances somewhere between 20 and 25%. As of this next year, we're ending at 18.14%. 20.18% for the general supplemental, and then for the rural, 19.58%. We've had those as low as 16% before at the end of figuring the budget, so those are definitely doable numbers there. And that is all I had. Like I said, if you want copies of the full budget, that's also back there, or the presentation, definitely let me know.
All right, thank you, Shelley. And anyone wish to speak this evening? If so, raise your hand and we'll call you forward. This could be quick. All right.
Jessica Hobbs, 811 North 11th Avenue Circle, Winterset. Times are tough for everybody right now. I would hope that the county and this board tries to find ways to work smarter. If there's changes in roles and roles not being provided by certain departments, I would think that would change the whole outlook on the budgets for those departments as well. So I'm wondering what the board is going to be doing to tighten this down.
Okay, thank you. Who else wishes to speak?
My name is Mary Lou Witt. I live in Maxburg, Iowa. I'm carrying a copy of the petition in paper form in case you want to accept this. And I want to say personally, our taxes went up $56,000. And I would appreciate if you would at least look at this petition because we don't agree with this tax increase.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak?
Hi, my name is Lisa Alessandro. I live on Court Avenue. I am also a business owner here, and I am curious to know where the tax money is actually going to go, what it's going to do for the community since it is going up about 20%.
Was in the pie chart that,
I didn't get a pie chart.
okay.
I'm sorry.
There's some around.
But if, you know, sometimes.
Get Shelley your email address and she can get it.
Well, a lot of us are kind of lay people and don't know a lot about finances or, you know, where it goes. So if you could kind of, for the lack of a better word, dumb it down, it would be kind of nice that you could just kind of tell us what you're going to use our money for.
Yeah. There's a,
Oh, thank you, sir.
okay. Thank you. Who else wishes to speak? Yes, sir.
I don't know if you need the microphone or
Yeah,
not.
let's come up here. Speak up.
My voice carries pretty
Hey,
well.
it sounds like it'll be all right.
Yeah, I don't expect that problem. You don't want questions, that's fine, but I would like us to examine where are we on the property tax valuations for the wind turbines in Maxburg. I know they got a great big tax break, so at the time that you're coming to hit all the residents who actually pay the taxes in, how much time is left on the different steps to the tax breaks that they got? You might consider that before you hit the rest of us.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, what was your name?
My name is Kepler Johnson,
Thank you.
1311 190th.
Thank you very much. What was the other?
1311 190th.
Okay, who else would like to speak? Yes.
Dennis Williams, worked for Midwest Land Group. Moved here from Rochester, Minnesota about 2.5 years ago, but 31 years at UPS. Got out, moved down here. We were on 14 acres. Our house was double the size we got here in Winterset. And our taxes were about $4,500 on 14 wooded acres, 10 minutes from Mayo Clinic. Moved here and I think our tax bill last year was like $6,800. Live in town, houses all around me. I got a little tiny lot I mow about this much. And now it's gonna be $7,000. Can you explain that?
Thank you, Dennis.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
And we're purchasing a farm in Lucas County. We're getting out of this county because of this.
Hello, thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Landon Kahn from Earlham. I think I have some info to share I think would be a good follow-up, especially to you, sir. In general, I'm for smaller government and responsible spending, especially the use of taxpayer dollars during these hard times. I know a lot of people are struggling, inflation, gas prices, and the like. There's a website, Iowans for Tax Relief. Don't know what it is. If you Google it, it's the first one that comes up. They track the amount of property tax revenue that's confiscated from taxpayers over the last 10 years, and they compare that to the population growth increase and inflation. So ideally, you would think that your property tax revenue confiscated should not be much greater than your increase in your population in your county plus inflation. So I took a look at the 10 counties surrounding us and surrounding Des Moines, since we're kind of surrounding Des Moines. So 10 counties that are somewhat similar, I would think. And Madison, so over the last 10 years, Madison County is the second worst in this aspect. Guthrie County is worse, but us two are far worse than everyone else. We've taken in, most of this is over actually the last 5 years, actually. Property tax revenue that's been confiscated from Madison County residents has grown 76.6%. It says over 10 years, but mostly if you look at the graph, is over 5. And the corresponding increase in population growth and inflation is 36.4%. So we have more than doubled, 200% increase over this time. So we're really getting after the taxpayer during this time, and obviously it shows compared to not just as an example of another state even, but if you just look at the 10 surrounding counties, we're far out of whack. There's a lot of other counties that have even been able to reverse that trend and actually keep the property tax revenue intake less than the growth of population inflation. Marshall County, 23% population inflation, 19.8% increase in revenue, property tax revenue taken. Jasper, 29 and 36, so very close. Story County, 32 and 36. Boone County, their property tax increase revenues have only been 8%, and their population and inflation is 27%. So they've really done a great job. So if you look at that, look at all the other, if you look at that, we're not doing a very good job budgeting, in my opinion. I know supervisors are just one entity. I know as far as school boards, city councils, but you guys are one entity. Everybody's feeling it. I would ask that listen to the taxpayers. There's over 600 residents on that petition. I think the huge double-digit and even greater, close to 20% salary increases are out of touch. I know in my industry, we're not seeing, in my aspect of the healthcare industry, we're not seeing anywhere near those salary increases to keep up with inflation even. So I just think that's out of, with everything, all this information that we have, I don't think we've been doing a responsible job these last several years. I think we need to look at cutting spending so that we can keep the tax burden minimal. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else wishes to speak?
Rick Tuttle, 3105 Pheasant Run Trail. I've got a farm knocking on the door, 150 years in the family. You have, I've put it in a trust to go to my grandkids. You've got me wondering if I'm going to be able to hold on that long just because of property taxes. Not only are you raising our taxes, but our services and quality of lesson, i.e., if I want to come to town, there's an awful lot of the time I can't get here because the roads are a disaster.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak?
My name's Holly Rice. I live at 3380 130th Street. And my taxes are going up. My home value has been increased by 43%, which I find just unbelievable that I have to come up with another $2,100 this year. I also work for the Census Bureau, and I used to complain about my road till I rode around where some of these folks probably live. I live out in the country. We get very little for our money. In fact, the sheriff back there is about the only service that I've had to use. We have to beg for gravel, and I live near Warren Avenue. And that road gets 500 cars a day down it. And at night, in the summertime, you cannot even sit out on your patio where you're not getting a face full of gravel dust. It's unhealthy, and nobody seems to care, except for how much we can hand you over so you can do stuff in the city.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Anyone on the conference call wish to comment? Okay, hearing none. Well, I saw Kevin's hand first, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
Somebody back up, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Kevin Charter, 1411 Warren Avenue. I think there's some great concern as far as what the property taxes are looking like, what's been levied, what we're looking to budget. And I think we really need to take a serious look at realigning probably some of our budgeting. Could take significant pay increases I think the public just needs to be informed of how we're gonna align the budget, because we've got a couple positions now that are going to be, needed to be taken over by the supervisors, and that's a board clerk and a budget director or manager, whichever you want to classify that as. And those are going to be other costlies. So I guess as we do the budget, I hope that we will look at realigning the allocation of budget money from different departments so that it gets realigned, so we're just not adding more bodies and costing the taxpayers more. So I've heard that comment a couple times in a couple meetings I've attended, where it doesn't seem to be a concern about what the taxpayers are getting hit with. Rather than, it always seems to be, let's throw it back to the taxpayers, but I never hear anything about what we're gonna do internally to help align that. So I think as you consider your vote on the budget tomorrow morning, I hope that you will consider making sure that these things are aligned properly as we go forward, and not continue to just think that the taxpayers are gonna continue to pay more. Because unfortunately, we border some counties, more in Dallas and Polk, that we want to regularly compare ourselves to, but we're no in comparison in size to any of those counties. So I think what we fail to do is to align ourselves with counties that are like size. We might be close to those counties, but that doesn't mean that we should operate like those. So I would hope that you take that into consideration as you do your voting. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Tim Lupkus, St. Charles, 102 East Sycamore, St. Charles, Iowa. I think I speak for everybody here. You know, it happens in Washington. We pay taxes, and nobody listens to us. But you guys, we're here to speak tonight, and my house, I bought it 3 years ago, I paid $269,900 for it. Got valuation the other day, it was $348,000. It got 28%, I think, I'm not the best at math, but it's 28%. Well, I'm just wondering, I'd love to hear somebody say, can we cut something sometime? You guys just take.
Yes.
You know, we're tired of it. You talk to people in Washington, they don't listen to us. Doesn't look like you people are listening. Our taxes just keep going up, and it's easy to sit there and say, hey, we're gonna pass this budget. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. We're gonna keep this meeting orderly, please.
Janet Williams, 617 North 10th Avenue. I haven't been here but more than 2.5 years, but we fell in love with this town. We fell in love with this square, and we fell in love with the people. And it's unfortunate that because of the taxes we are moving. However, this square is thriving, and people are buying businesses and building business and making it better. And we keep getting taxed and keep getting taxed. This is gonna be a dead town. Just like all those other towns out there, deader than a doornail. It's gonna be ruined. And it can be on the blood, it can be on your hands for that.
Ma'am, what was your name?
Janet Williams.
Anyone else wish to comment? Yes, sir.
My name is Dave Miller. I'm from Maryland.
You
I'm
can
a
put a
recent.
mic out if you want, Dave. That's
Yeah.
easier.
It's a little low for me. I'm a returned Iowa kid. Moved back here from Colorado just 2 years ago. And just to give you perspective, like he was saying from Minnesota, I had a house there that was valued as twice as much as my parents was here. My parents paid twice as much in tax as I did there. I think that's wrong. Just please evaluate the budgets like we heard. Let's figure out a way to cut some stuff versus keep adding to it. And the problem with a lot of our government is once it gets started, you can never get rid of it, which is just wrong. You know, and that I just want to throw a perspective from another state as well. Half as much for twice as much house. That, you know, doesn't make sense.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment this evening?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
Hi, my name is Paul Heffron. I live at 2627 160th Street, Van Meter. I'm not certain how the compensation board is run or administered, but I believe it's tone deaf on the board's part after the assessments come out to publish these proposed raises in the newspaper. I know we backed off of that some, but that's the spark that lit this fire. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone else wish to comment? Yes, sir.
Jed Tervar, 1374 State Highway 92. I can stand, so I'm not. I wanted to come at it from a little different perspective. So, you know, I feel like there's been some great comments. Of course, we're upset about the tax hikes. It's frustrating. But one of the thoughts I had was we actually do have a few rentals, okay? And we're trying to keep Winterset a place that we can move people and people can find housing. And just the hikes on some of the properties, not that it's an extensive amount by any means, it's making it harder to keep the rents down. And so that's certainly something to think. We're trying to bring people back to Madison County to employ them, potentially college grads, and we'd like to house them here. And they're seeing it as not as attractive of a place to be. So kind of to follow in the footsteps of a few other comments, just certainly need to be cognizant of that, and we would appreciate your consideration on and your vote tomorrow, what it may be. So,
Okay, thanks, Jed. Anyone else wish to comment? Larry?
Larry Dillinger, 505 North 5th Street, North 6th Street, excuse me. When I got a notice about the increase in the value of my house, and obviously the increase in my property taxes on the house, so in essence what you're asking me to do is pay for an ungained appreciation on my house, which I have not realized. I've not gotten paid for that increase, but you're asking me to pay you for that increase in evaluations. So it's something that I'm not getting. You tell me my house is worth that to increase my taxes, but I'm not getting anything out of that house. Nothing of it's coming to me.
Thank you, Larry. Anyone else wish to comment this evening? See a hand, I can't see the face of it. Rachel. You can probably leave this mic where your son left it.
Yeah.
genetics.
Everybody has 10 minutes, am I right?
Yes, you do.
You want me to take all 10? No. I only want to say that it's a hearing and that we're here to be heard, obviously. So we don't expect that this is going to fall on deaf ears. We really don't. And we take time to leave our, our obligations and our things we might be doing on a beautiful spring night to come here, and I hope it's not a waste for us. I really do. If you think about that, you were all elected on a political platform of conservatism. If you think about the word conserve and you look it up in the dictionary, it is to use carefully or sparingly and to avoid waste. And that's what we elected you guys to do, and you've been, accommodating that very well, and we're thankful for it, on a lot of counts. But this one is really important, and our voices have to matter, and the people that did sign that petition meant their voices to matter. We entrusted you in this capacity. We expected to be represented. How many forums, how many hearings, how many petitions will it take for you to be able to interpret that these appeals are coming, directly from people who need the relief? They need the relief. You promised your constituents, based on the Republican platform, that you wouldn't raise taxes. You should be honoring that. You should be representing that. You should be limiting the expansion of government and excessive spending that results in undue burden on hardworking residents in this county. Statistic that I saw was that this county is 6th out of the 99 counties in the percentage of taxes. Only you can remedy this. It can't be approved as is, not in good conscience. Not if you're being a caring and loving, supervisors toward your neighbors. That's all I got.
Thanks, Rachel. Anyone else wish to comment this evening? Yes, Shelley.
Shelley Kaster, 565 Northwest 2nd Street in Earlham. I just want to address the board clerk forces and the board budget director. Those are two tasks in my office that my office has absorbed and continues to do until a replacement is found. There is no one person in my office doing just the budget. I was working on the budget till 9 o'clock last night at my house while my children are there wanting time with their mom. I'm doing those things outside of my normal 8 to 4:30 job as a courtesy to the supervisors. The board clerk stuff, we've been accused of splicing tapes. We've been accused of messing with cameras. It just comes to a point where if there's somebody else that can do that better, I am happy to let them do that. But I'm not gonna continue to have the integrity of my staff be questioned. So again, there's not a one person in my office that is the board clerk and that's all that they do. So to say that there are two positions in my office that are not needed anymore is completely unfair. And I encourage anybody, any of you, any of the supervisors, to come sit in my office and see everything we do. I'm not just prepping the budget and we're not just doing agendas and minutes.
Thank you, Shelley. Anyone else wish to comment this evening? Yes.
Elise Earhart, I also live on State Highway 92. I'm also coming at it from a slightly different perspective that we own a small business. We are also trying to attract people to move back, college grads, people who want jobs, people who want to do well. And I understand running your company. We are also working past 8 to 4. We are also working late nights. We are also cutting our budgets. We are not giving the raises we want to give that are staffing. They have deserved that. We have people who are looking to actively buy houses in Madison County and are definitely considering not because the taxes are so high. I need to attract people to this county with the environment. People love the square. People want to move to Madison County, but they start looking at the financials and that is challenging. The taxes that come to myself trickle down all the way to our staff. It's a complete trickle-down effect. We want to pay people more to be here. We're all trying to do that. But I would encourage you guys to please look at, we are also businesses. We are also giving 110% with not getting the financial reward. Please consider that, and please consider we're all in this. We're all trying to figure out how do we make a living, how do we cut costs to be effective and do our jobs well. So please just take that into account. Please hear that we understand that this is a tough time. But please hear the public and please understand that we are trying to do the best that we can, and that includes budget cuts for everybody. Our average staff increase was 3% this year. It is not 20%. We cannot afford that, therefore we do not do that. So please take that into consideration.
Anyone else wish to comment this evening? Okay. Seeing none. Anyone on the phone wish to comment? Okay, seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn the public hearing. Motion from Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Heather. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned at 6:30. The public hearing is adjourned at 6:31. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Motion from Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Diane. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Leave with us.
I don't know.
Someone must have stood out of habit.
A couple times I heard them vote and make motions. That is hard to do. You're sitting in a meeting. You're on.
appreciate it.